Friends, I am Vaibhav Sharma from TITS. Today we are having a concluded lecture on report writing. The syllabus which we are to head is report, types of report, format of the formal reports. To deliver the lecture, Dr. Sudhir Narayan Singh is with us. I invite you, sir, to have an interactive session with our children.
Thank you. Thanks a lot and for giving me this opportunity to extend the talk on the topic. I would like to start and request you to take your seat first. The concluding topic of the lecture is towards report writing. And then here we will be focusing on certain mechanics of writing styles, and we will be talking how to write an effective report. In the mechanics of writing and writing style, there are various ways of developing writing, various methods of improving and improvising writing style. Many of us think that my ways are highways, and they start fluently and frequently from the point they start thinking the way they think. But this is not the right method. I would like to give you why this is not the right method. I would like to tell you a very small story. There are 7 blind persons. They were supposed to describe an elephant. How does an elephant look like? And what happened? They started describing in their own way. One of the blind person touches the leg of the elephant and describes it, reports that elephant is like a pillar. Another one touches the back of the elephant and says that elephant is like a wall. The other one touches the trunk of the tusk of that elephant and says that elephant is like a python. The other one touches the tail of the elephant and says that elephant is like a broom. So on and so forth. While having the comprehensive vision, you might be thinking that none of them are wrong. They all are partially right, but they are not doing justice. Their report is not accurate. Their report is maybe partially true. It is based on the partial facts. So somewhere we need to honor the opinion of the others. We need to develop a comprehensive opinion to establish the comprehensive thought, and then we will be able to curtail this philosophy of my ways are the highways. It should not be followed. Then subjective expression. We can describe anything, subjectivity in the subjective language as per our own choices, desires, wills. But that may never be right, because if I am describing something in a subjective way, I may be exaggerating the data as to meet out my own requirement, and that must not be followed. And language for a good report must be impartial. It must be written in an objective language. And so subjective expressions are again another possible negative. Then we are supposed to identify the objectivity of the language, and then inductive and deductive logic. Inductive and deductive logic, these are two methods of explaining the same thing. One begins from part to whole and another from whole to part. Like suppose that I am describing a situation, first I will be thinking like out of the whole constellation, and there is, you can say, earth. In the earth there is Asia, and inside Asia there is a country, India. Inside India we are in Haryana. Inside Haryana we are at Bhiwani. Inside Bhiwani we are representing an institution, the Technological Institute of Textile and Sciences. Inside TIT we are from the Mechanical Engineering branch, and inside Mechanical Engineering branch there is one lecture going on. Inside that lecture, one of the teachers are giving his deliberations on report writing. That is one of the topic of the syllabus, and in that topic we are having the concluding lecture. So what is the method of this writing or this speaking? This method is, we are traveling from whole to part. We are trying to filter out the concrete information from the given data, first collecting data and then filtering out the concrete information. This is known as deductive method of writing. In the reversible order we can represent the same thing, and that can be inductive logic. So these are two methods, two dynamism of writing, two methods of writing. Another thing. Then later on we can talk about journalistic approach. Journalistic approach is like that. It requires, when we are going to write a report for media, producing for media writing, press report writing. It is based chiefly depending on what, when, how, where, why. All the WH questions are answered factually, and ultimately results come over. So journalistic writing answer these questions. First, what happened? When did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? Why did it happen? If your report is able, if you are able to answer all these questions by these method, journalistic approach, this is another way of writing, and our press release and press reports are written in that way. So this is another mechanism of writing. Next slide please. Then report writing, mechanics of writing. Again, in the writing style, what should be a language choice for writing a good report, writing a qualitative report? The language should the language be easy, or should the language be very tough? I need answer from your side. Language must be very simple, very easy. Why is it so? It must not be tough, because report is a part of expressive writing. It is not the part of impressive writing. We write for two purposes, we speak for two purposes, we communicate for two reasons, purposes. One is expression, that is the bigger dimension. Another one is impression. So we must be expressionistic in our opinion, and we must write for expressing the things. And then for that purpose, there is one formula we need to know. We need to identify that whether a given writing is good or bad, and for that purpose, that parameter is there, the fog index. That if the writing is having, see, you are driving on the road, and if there is too much fog, will you be comfortable in driving? No. Same way, if you are writing a report or reading a report and the language is very tough and it is quite difficult to identify the meaning and going through the language, will you be comfortable? No. So in that situation, fog index is the formula to identify that whether language is foggy or not. It is easy to read, it is having a flow of the thought, or it is having very tough situation and it is avoiding the person to skip into the language. So fog index is a parameter that declares that whether the language is simple, complex, or you can say easy to go, easy to sail through, or it is very tough and it is discouraging. So language must be simple. There is another formula for report writing, that is case formula. Keep simple and sound. While writing a report, we should not go exaggerate the data, we should not overdo, rather we should be as simple, as straight as possible, as direct as possible, as you said. Next please. Then format and structure of a report. Now we are going to discuss inside the extensive part of, and we will be focusing extensively on the part of report. Like structure of a good report can be divided into three parts: front matter, main body, back matter. Next please. So these three parts we will be focusing one by one, and this is front matter we are going to talk here. Front matter, the first part of the front matter is, first it begins with the cover sheet. What should be the cover type of a report? If the report is thicker, it may carry hard cover. If it is, and it is of greater significance, or it may be of a type like paperback. Report may be containing paperback. And then the cover color should be light. Then there comes title page. Then frontispiece, copyright notice, and then forwarding letter. After the forwarding remarks, there will be preface, then acknowledgement, and then table of contents, a list of illustrations. Finally, abstract or summary of the or even executive summary. These things should be discussed as the part of front matter. Next please. Main body. Main body of the report should contain these materials: introduction, discussion, conclusion and recommendation. As we have discussed in our first part, introductory part, that no report can be complete or can be good without recommendation. Recommendation is one of the most important part, and it must recommend after analysis that how to sort out the problem, how to accelerate the positive things, and how to motivate the people if it is related to, you can say, managerial part. Next please. Then the back matter comes. Report writing back matter is contains these major things. First is appendices. Inside appendices, what type of information should be there? Additional charts and graphs, samples, questionnaire, worked out and calculations, site plan and so on. All these things should constitute, you can say, appendices. Then there comes references. Inside the report, while preparing the report, how many lines you have taken, how many material you have borrowed from other sources, you must refer to. And then this is known as references. Sometimes people write work cited. Instead of writing this word, they write work cited. And reference, the meaning of reference is list of works cited. Borrowed, you are borrowing, intellectual borrowing from there, you must acknowledge the source. Then there comes the bibliography. Many a times people they get confused about these two things. They think that they are synonymous to each other. But this is never like that. Reference is the list of works cited, whereas bibliography is the list of works consulted. Citation may or may not be there. Are you clear about the fact? Let me stress it once more. References is the list of works cited where the direct borrowing is done. At the same time, when we are talking about bibliography, bibliography is the list of works consulted. Citation may or may not be there. Means in the process of preparation of report writing and data collection, the reporter has gone through so many things as a part of data survey, data collection. and those lists he did not, sometimes he borrowed, sometimes he didn't borrow, and then ultimately that becomes the list that list should also be provided in order to make the report transparent and genuine. In order to maintain that genuinity, that reporter should produce the list of works consulted, and that will be constituting bibliography. Next please. Then back matter. After bibliography, the back matter starts. In back matter, what are the things we are supposed to maintain? First is glossary, if required. What is glossary then? Glossary is the list of technical words and terminology which appear in the text of the report. Suppose that you have used some technical word like ICT, Information and Communication Technology. You have used something like CCC, Cross-Cultural Communication. You have used MAN, Metropolitan Area Networking. You have used PAC, Personal Area Networking. Then you must mention it, all those technical terms which appear in the text, and then there comes indexing. Second part of back matter is, fifth part of back matter is indexing. List of various topics, subtopics and various other significant aspects which have been discussed inside the main body but could not find a place in the table of content. That material will come in the part of indexing, and that will help the further researches possible and to the researchers and for the reporters and whosoever want to be benefited or want to use this report for further context. Next please. Then report checklist. Now you have prepared your report is ready. What are the things you should be checking in? What is the checklist? You must be checking whether title page is accurate, any mistake, is there any mistake remaining, or title page is right or not. Then title, writer, who is the writer of the report. Then organization, which organization support in preparing the report. Then what is the date of the report. Then person who commissioned the report, who gave any support, financial support or even fundings and other things. You must mention them later on. Next please. Second checklist is table of content. Inside that, whether the table of contents are accurate, clear, they are having clear layout, they are having section numbering system and indentation or not. Indentation we have already discussed in our earlier lectures. Then complete, whether the report is complete or not. Page numbering is there or not. List of illustrations, if applicable, some crisp material is there and you wanted to illustrate it, whether you have illustrated it or not. These things should be checked before finalizing the report for its publication. Next please. Abstract. Abstract also you need to check. Abstract is one thing, let me define it a bit. Because sometimes it is independently asked as a question that what do you understand by the abstract. 2-3 things are there. Terminology is there. Synopsis, abstract, summary. Clear? Suppose that summary is having the brief account of the whole report. But summary is not an authentic data. Whereas abstract contains all the main points of the report and that can be independently published. Abstract can be independently published and it has its value. It has its restricted word length and no important point to be skipped from the abstract. An abstract, like suppose that a report is having 1400 pages or of this size. Clear? So abstract may be of 30-35 pages. And read summary of key information. Report should be informative, not descriptive. You need not to describe in that all the details. Rather, report should give the information step by step. And then inform, impersonal tone should be preferred, and connected prose. Prose should be connected. Each paragraph, next paragraph should be linked with the first paragraph. Even next statement should be linked with the previous statement coming through. Next slide please.
पोज करिए भाई सर
बहुत बेइज्जती करा रहे हो. Length summary of key information, informative, not descriptive, inform, impersonal tone and connected prose. Next. Then introduction you need to change. Relating topics to wider field, necessary background information should be there. Purpose of report must be clearly mentioned, and what is the scope of the report, it is applicable for whom and where. And then later on, explanation of arrangement of report section. Body format, how should the main body be organized, we must be careful of it. Main headings indicating equal level of significance. Next. Subheadings related to the section headings. Choice of labels indicating hierarchy of significance and hierarchy of importance shown by careful and consistent use of features. And such as capitals, different fonts, where required, underlining, bold and italics, it should be used carefully. You must not go for italicizing everything or underlining everything. Next. Then indenting, numbering, letter system, space between sections to enhance readability. It should not be very small font, even font size should be readable. And when using charts, statistics and illustrations, check for suitability, captions, reference in the text and positioning. Next please. Acknowledgement of all sources. You must acknowledge that if you have taken any support, you must acknowledge it. And like if I am borrowing any line from your writing, I must acknowledge that these lines are taken from that place. Material, refer to indirectly or directly, direct quotations, copy, diagrams, tables, statistics. Ensure a systematic link between references in the text and the reference list and bibliography. Furthermore, expression, correct, it should be correct and it should be your own words, it must be concise and it must be clear to intended reader. Formal and factual, it must be formal in tone and factual based on facts. Factual writing. Next please. Content. Logical development of ideas from one section to another within each section. Citing evidences, it must be relevant, objective and specific. Then conclusion. What should be the, while taking conclusion, what are the points you should be checking it? Arising out of the facts, convincing and a substantial basis for the recommendation. What you are recommending, it must have a substantial basis. You must not recommend based on only views and choices and impressions and cultural upliftment or biases. Next. Recommendations, if applicable, based on the conclusion, practical, specific, well organized, with the most important first. Most important recommendation should be first. The sequence will be like that. List of references, sources in the text listed by Harvard MLA or as per recommended required system. Which API or even what is required, you must follow the same. Next. Bibliography, text consulted but not referred to directly in the report. Bibliography is the list of text consulted but not referred to directly in the report. Then glossary, if included, arranged alphabetically. Glossary must be in the alphabetical order. Appendix or appendices placed at end of a report if included and arranged in the order referred to in the report. Next, sequencing must be there. Then this is the example of references. This report, the lecture on the report writing, the deliberation on the report writing, the slides that I prepared is having 3 references. So we have here furnished the list of works cited. Like sequence will be Hornby A.S. 2005 Oxford Advanced Lessons Dictionary, Chief Editor Shally Wayman, Editors Colin McIntosh et al. Editor Edition 7th Oxford University Press New York, USA. And it is, if the source is printed, then you will write print. And if it is net source, web source, you will write web. Then Kumar, Sanjay and Lata, Pushlata, 2013. Communication skills, Oxford University Press, New Delhi, India. Page number like this. This will be the sequencing of for references. Next please. Then bibliography. This I have prepared for this report only. This lecture, and we have consulted list of work consulted. That would be in this format. And finally, next slide please. Okay, next. The session is open for question, answer and discussion if you have any, and if not, thank you, thanks a lot for being a very good audience. Thanks.
बंद करियो